Hello friends, welcome to our channel Knowledge Amplifier. So in my previous video, I started discussion on Kafka Producer internals, right? First I have explained this particular overall architecture and then I started explaining individual components in detail, right? Like here I have explained how to send messages using Python API to our Kafka cluster using send method. Then how we can do key value serialization using different way, that I have covered. After that we have seen that the messages will be written in which partition, that will be determined. Then what happens? The messages are accumulated in a in-memory queue data structure, or it is called record accumulator or buffer, right? And there it is stored for micro batching for efficient IO and compression, right? And then if linger, ms or batch size, any of the condition is satisfied, the micro batches are written in Kafka cluster, right? So starting from publishing the message in Kafka cluster from Python API using send method to the micro batching. This particular part I have already discussed in detail in my previous videos. If you want to know that detailed explanation, you can go through the link given in the description box. Okay. Now let me explain. If suppose these batches are not able to retain in the Kafka cluster due to some reason, then if it fails, obviously retry happens, right? That is this particular part. Okay. Let's explore this particular part in detail in today's video. Okay. And I have just made another flow diagram for this particular part in detail, and let me open that and explain you from that. Okay, so here is the detailed architecture. Let me just explain from beginning once. So here we are starting the process. That means here we are calling the send method to write our messages in Kafka cluster, as simple as that. Now you know that we can pass key for partitioning calculation, or else actually it is optional. Okay, we need to pass the value which is our actual message. So if we pass value and don't pass key, then key is basically null, and in a round robin fashion among different partitions the messages will be distributed, right? If we are passing the key, then what happens first? Obviously serialization happens for both key and value always, because we are sending the messages via network, so we need serialization. And after serialization for both key and value, we calculate the partition, right? Once the partition is created, the messages are stored in memory queue data structure for efficient micro batching, right? And once the batch size or linger ms, any of the condition is satisfied, the messages are sent to be written in Kafka cluster using a IO thread, right? So let's explore from this particular block to this top block what is happening. Let's just explore in detail. Okay, so IO thread will try to write the message in Kafka cluster. Okay, here three important parameters are there. One is AC case, which I have already covered in my previous video in detail. That is, suppose our IO thread is able to write the message in Kafka cluster properly, then how the acknowledgement will be sent, whether we want any acknowledgement or not. Okay, or might be we are having multi-broker Kafka cluster, then might be for fault tolerance purpose we have enabled replication. Okay, then in that case, whether we want acknowledgement if IO thread is able to write the messages in leader partition, or we want acknowledgement only after the messages are successfully written in leader partition as well as all the follower partition. Okay, how we want to get the acknowledgement, that we can control using ACK parameter, right? There are two more parameters. One is max in-flight request per connection and enable idempotence. Okay, what are those? I will explain. No need to worry. Just bear with me till the end of the video. Okay. So here micro batches are sent. Okay. So here batches are coming. IO thread is trying to write the messages. Okay. So before writing a batch in Kafka cluster, it is checked whether it is a duplicate batch or not. And how duplicacy might occur, I will explain that. Okay. So first time, if the batch is coming, obviously it will not be duplicate. What the Kafka will do, it will persist that particular batch in leader and obviously in replicas if we are having multi-broker Kafka cluster and if we have enabled replication, right? As simple as that. Okay. And then if IO thread is successfully able to write the batch in our Kafka cluster, then here we are having a check whether it is successful or not. If it is successful, then it will go via this particular path, and here it will call a success handler. Okay. In success handler, the client side, you can do anything. You can capture that as logs, or you can store something that, okay, this message is written successfully, like that. Anything, whatever you want, you can do, and the process will be finished. Okay. if suppose due to some reason the IO thread is not able to write the batch in Kafka cluster, okay, then it will go to this particular path. That means it is not successful. Then there is another important component comes retry behavior. Okay, while creating the producer, we can configure whether we want to retry for message writing if one batch is failed at the first time or not. Okay, you can configure how many times you want to retry. Okay, so if suppose retry we have not enabled, so initially what happened, our IO thread is not able to write the message in Kafka cluster. Okay, so success will be not true, so it will come in this particular path. And suppose we have not configured retry, so it will go to the no path and it will call the error handler. Okay, and in client side you will get a message that this particular messages are not written successfully. Then you can handle in your client side, maybe you can start sending the same set of messages from beginning and try to write the messages. Okay, that you can do obviously. But suppose you have enabled retry, then what will happen? There is another check happens, and that is delivery timeout millisecond. So in delivery timeout millisecond, you can configure for how much time the Kafka will try to write the message or retry to write the message if it fails first time. Okay, so suppose delivery timeout is over for writing the messages or while having a retry, then obviously if delivery timeout millisecond over, then again it will go to the error handler code. And then in client side you will get error that okay, after retry also this set of messages the Kafka is not able to write due to some reason and you have to handle in some. Okay, but suppose the delivery timeout millisecond is not over and you have enabled retry, you have configured that this many times it will retry. What will happen? It will go to this particular block. So if delivery timeout millisecond is not over, that particular batch will come here and then Kafka will again try to write the batch in our Kafka cluster. Okay, I hope up to this you have got that. Okay, right. So now let's explore what is this enable idempotence max in-flight request per connection. I hope this particular component you understood clearly. Let's explore these parameters, why they are required. Okay, so first let's come to enable idempotence, what that means. Okay, so consider a scenario that we are having some messages in a batch and we are trying to write that batch in Kafka cluster. Okay, if that particular batch writing fails due to some reason, and if we have enabled retry, Kafka will retry to write the message in Kafka cluster. That is fine. But what if the batch is successfully written in Kafka cluster, but when sending the return response or the acknowledgement to the producer that okay, the message is written successfully, while sending that return response, if it fails, then what will happen? So here, try to understand the scenario. The batch is written successfully in Kafka cluster, and when sending the acknowledgement, something happens and the acknowledgement is lost. The return response is not returned to the producer. So our producer will think, okay, basically the batch due to some reason it is not written in our Kafka cluster, right? And what will happen? The producer will again try to send that particular batch to Kafka cluster for write, right? Now, if Kafka simply write that particular batch again, then obviously duplicacy will happen. That is not required. So, if you enable idempotence, what the Kafka will do before writing that particular batch in Kafka cluster, it will check whether it is duplicate batch or not. Okay, if it is duplicate batch, then Kafka cluster will intelligently understand that okay, might be I have already written that particular batch in my cluster, but when I send the return response or acknowledgement, due to some reason the producer was not able to receive that particular acknowledgement and producer thought that the batch is not written successfully, so the producer is resending. Okay, but I should not rewrite. Rather what I will do, instead of rewriting that same batch again, I will send the acknowledgement again for that particular batch, because in the earlier writing operation the particular acknowledgement was lost and it was not sent to producer, right? So I will not write the batch again to avoid duplicacy, but rather I will send the acknowledgement to producer to ensure that producer will understand that that particular batch is written successfully. And that's the importance of enable idempotence. If you enable idempotence, Kafka before writing the batch, it do a duplicate check. Okay, and I hope it is clear to you why we need to do so, right? And next important property, let's try to understand which is max in-flight request per connection. Okay, so why we require that particular parameter, or what is the significance of that parameter? Let us try to understand, right? So suppose when batching of record happens in our Kafka in-memory queue or buffer, then 3 batches are created. Okay, first batch, second batch, and third batch. And coincidentally, all the batches are going to one single partition only for a particular topic. Now, first batch is sent. Our IO thread is successfully able to write that particular batch in our Kafka partition. Okay, first batch is done. Now, when our IO thread is trying to write that second batch in the same partition, what happens? It failed to write due to some reason. Okay, and we have enabled retry, and that's why our Kafka cluster will try to have a retry to write the second batch in our partition again. Okay, but when it is having a retry, obviously it will take some time. Might be by that time the IO thread has written the third batch in the same partition. Okay, now we know one thing, that within a particular partition the messages are in order, so actual order should be first batch, then second batch, and then third batch. Okay, but due to this retry, what happened? First batch is written successfully, then the third batch is coming, because by that time the second batch was having a retry, and then the second batch is written. So actually within our partition the ordering is first batch, then third batch, and then the second batch. Basically the retry behavior is screwing up our actual message ordering within a particular partition. Okay, but obviously as we know that within a partition the messages should be in order, so this retry behavior is making a problem. Okay, and that's why we can use this particular parameter, which is basically max in-flight request per connection equal to 1. If we want, the messages should be always in proper order within a partition. Okay, so what is that? In-flight request basically mean that requests are sent but not yet completed. Okay, so suppose in-flight request you are configuring 5. That means you can send at a time 5 requests and none of them is completed, and after 5 requests sent you are waiting that okay, I will wait for some response, then I will send next requests. Okay, so if you are sending suppose 5 batches, then if some batch is failed to be written first time by Kafka cluster, then retry will happen, and there you might get a possibility chance for screwing up your ordering within a partition, right? But if you are enabling in-flight request as 1, that means what will happen? I will send a request and I will wait until it is completed. Okay, so suppose you sent a batch, first time it is not able to be written in Kafka cluster due to some reason, it will have a retry, and while having retry, Kafka will not write any other batch in the cluster. Okay, obviously it will slow down the message writing operation, that is obviously we can understand, but one thing, if you want messages are to be in order properly, then you can make max in-flight request per connection as 1, so that in-flight request or those requests for which we are not sure it is completed or not, that will be always 1. Okay, so that if retry also happens, Kafka will not try to write other batch in the cluster, and that way the ordering will be maintained. Okay, in simple words, if you are making max in-flight request equal to 1, kind of you are making your Kafka message writing operation a synchronous process. That means once you are writing a batch, you are waiting to receive the acknowledgement, and then you are writing next batch, like that. Okay, so max in-flight request per connection and making the process synchronous is almost same, right? So I hope now you got a better understanding about Kafka Producer. In my next video, I will discuss little bit about this error handler, success handler, what are the different ways you can send the message, synchronous, asynchronous callback, fire and forget method. Okay, so if you are enjoying this particular Kafka discussions, if you are enjoying the playlist where I have explained the Kafka from scratch in my previous videos, then please like, share and comment, and subscribe our channel if you are not subscribed till now. And don't forget to press the bell icon to get the notification of our latest videos. Thank you.